Imagine waking up one morning, checking your bank app, and seeing zero. Not low, not, I'll bounce back. Zero. Every dollar, every chain, every car, every property, gone. And the name on the screen that took it all? The IRS. That's exactly what sources close to Quavo are screaming happened behind closed doors in the last 72 hours. The man who once stood on stage dripping in seven-figure ice, throwing money like it grew on trees, the same Quavo who told the world, I'm getting money, I ain't worried about it, is allegedly staring at an empty vault right now. We're hearing numbers so big they sound fake, $18 to $22 million seized in one brutal sweep. Homes in Atlanta, Miami, hidden investment properties, even the custom Maybach collection, frozen, auction block bound, are already gone. But here's where it gets ugly. Really ugly. Insiders say Quavo didn't just lose money, he lost control. Screaming matches with accountants at 3 a.m. phones slammed, lawyers ghosting, and the most heartbreaking detail leaking out tonight? A close family member, someone he trusted with everything, allegedly warned him for 2 years that the tax filings were a ticking time bomb, and he allegedly brushed it off. Now the internet is exploding. Old clips of him flexing private jets and diamond-encrusted rollies are being stitched next to grainy paparazzi shots of him leaving what looks like a government building with his head down, hoodie up, no jewelry in sight. Is this the end of the Migos empire as we know it? Is Quavo really broke, or is this the ultimate setup for the biggest comeback story in hip-hop history? One thing's for certain, the king of drip just got stripped. And the whole world is watching to see if he can rise, or if he finally falls for good. You're not gonna believe what happened next. Quavo reacting to going broke after IRS takes everything is devastating. The fallout started quietly, almost like a whisper in the Atlanta night, but by the time the sun came up, the whole city felt the earthquake. Quavo had always been the one who moved different, the one who turned every flex into a statement, every chain into a chapter of his legend. But legends don't pay taxes like regular people do, and that's where the story cracks open wide. Insiders say it began with a single certified letter slipped under the door of his Buckhead mansion at 4:17 a.m. on a Tuesday. Nobody remembers the exact date anymore because the timeline blurred into chaos so fast. The envelope was thick, government thick, the kind that makes your stomach drop before you even open it. Quavo wasn't even home. He was in Miami, posted up at a private table in Live, throwing stacks like it was 2018 all over again. His phone buzzed once, twice, then non-stop. He ignored it. He always ignored the serious ones. That's what got him here. By the time he landed back in Atlanta, the locks were already changed. Not by him, by the IRS. Agents in plain clothes, no sirens, just clipboards and cold faces, had already swept through the property like it was inventory day at a warehouse. They didn't take pictures for the gram. They took manifests. Every Rolex, every Patek, every phantom drop top, every deed to every condo, every wire transfer record they could find. Quavo pulled up in the Lambo, the one with the custom paint that cost more than most people's houses, and saw yellow tape across his own driveway. Not crime scene tape, seizure tape, the kind that says this ain't yours anymore. He sat in the car for 20 minutes straight, engine running, staring at nothing. People driving by started filming. Within an hour the clips were everywhere. Quavo Huncho sitting frozen behind tinted glass while the world watched his empire get dismantled in real time. He didn't cry, not on camera anyway, but those closest to him say the mask cracked the second he stepped inside what used to be his living room. Empty, not just empty of people, empty of everything. The custom sectional that took 6 months to build? Gone. The marble island bigger than most kitchens? Tagged and photographed for auction. Even the fridge was cleared out, like they wanted to make sure no bottle of Ace was left behind as a souvenir. Quavo walked room to room, footsteps echoing on bare hardwood, whispering to himself. This can't be real, this can't be real, but it was, very real, and the number they slapped on it hurt worse than any diss track ever could. 18 million, some say closer to 22 when you count the penalties and interest that had been stacking like bad karma for years. He had heard the warnings. Everybody had. Accountants, managers, even Offset pulled him to the side after a family barbecued 2 summers ago and said straight up, Huncho, you gotta get right with these people before they come get right with you. Quavo laughed it off, said taxes are for employees. I'm self-made. Self-made don't mean tax exempt. The first call he made wasn't to a lawyer. It was to his mom. Mama Quavo picked up on the first ring like she always does. The conversation lasted 11 minutes and 43 seconds according to phone records that somehow leaked the same day. She didn't yell, she just cried. Soft at first, then harder. Quavo tried to sound strong. Mama, it's gon' be alright. I got moves left, but his voice cracked on the word moves. She asked him one question that hit like a bullet. Why didn't you listen? He had no answer, just silence and breathing. When he hung up, the phone slipped out of his hand and hit the floor. He didn't pick it up. He just sat on the empty spot where his couch used to be and stared at the wall. Fans flooded the comments under every old post. Some praying, some clowning, most just shocked. Quavo ain't broke is he? One viral tweet read, another said bro went from Migos to minus real quick. The memes hit fast. Photoshopped pictures of Quavo pushing a shopping cart with his old chains in it. Quavo eating ramen in a Lambo. Quavo holding a sign that says we'll rap for food. He saw them all, didn't respond, not yet, but the hurt was building. The kind of hurt that turns into anger real quick. That's when the family started circling. Offset showed up first, pulled up in a blacked out Escalade, no entourage, just him. Walked right past the agents still inventorying the garage and found Quavo sitting on the stairs. They didn't dap up, they just looked at each other. Offset spoke first, told you. Quavo didn't even argue, just nodded slow. Offset sat down next to him. For once there was no cameras, no clout chasing. Just two brothers who came up together now staring at the wreckage. Offset said we can fix this. But you gotta stop frontin' like you invincible. Quavo looked at him, eyes red. I ain't frontin', I really thought I was. Offset shook his head, we all did, but reality don't care about streams. Takeoff wasn't there, couldn't be, but his name hung in the air like a ghost. Both of them felt it. If Takeoff was still here, maybe none of this happens. Maybe he was the one who always checked the paperwork, always asked the boring questions nobody else wanted to hear. Quavo whispered it out loud. Takeoff would have caught this. Offset didn't disagree. He just put a hand on Quavo's shoulder. We still got each other. That's gotta count for something. But the cracks were already spreading wider. Quavo's sister started posting cryptic messages. Nothing direct, just broken heart emojis and prayers. Fans read between the lines and ran with it. Family turning on him? Betrayal from the inner circle? The rumors caught fire. Then came the accountant, the one Quavo trusted most. The one who handled everything. Word leaked that this same accountant had been sending emails for 26 months straight. Warnings, red flags, final notices. Quavo allegedly replied to exactly 0 of them. The accountant quit 6 weeks before the seizure. Told a mutual friend he couldn't watch a train wreck in slow motion anymore. When Quavo found out, the rage hit different. He called the accountant at 2 a.m. screaming, "You set me up, you let this happen." The accountant stayed calm. "I begged you. For 2 years. You told me to chill." Quavo hung up, threw the phone across the empty room. It shattered against the wall. Just like everything else, by the end of that first week, Quavo wasn't the same. He stopped posting, stopped flexing, stopped answering DMs. He moved into a rented condo in Midtown. Nothing flashy. 2 bedrooms, no view. Friends say he spent most nights on the balcony staring at the skyline, replaying every purchase, every party, every time he said fuck it, I'll pay later. The weight settled in his chest heavy. Not just the money, the shame, the what ifs, the realization that the lifestyle he built his whole identity around was the very thing that buried him. And just when he thought it couldn't get worse, the next bomb dropped. A close friend, someone who was in the circle since the Huncho days, sold the story to a blog. Detailed, timestamps, receipts, everything. The headline read Quavo ignored tax warnings for years while blowing millions on luxury. The comments were brutal. He deserves it. Karma. Should have listened. Quavo read every one. Didn't sleep for 3 days straight. That's when the real breakdown started. Not the loud kind. The quiet kind. The kind where you sit in silence and feel your whole world shrink until it's just you and the regret. He called Offset again. Voice low. Broken. "I don't know how to come back from this." Offset didn't sugarcoat it. "You don't come back the same. But you can come back different. Stronger. Realer." Quavo laughed, bitter. "Realer? Nigga, I'm homeless in my own city." Offset paused, then said, "Nah, you still got the talent. The name, the story, use it, turn pain into product." Quavo didn't answer right away. But something shifted, small, barely noticeable, but it was there, a spark, the same spark that made him write Versace when he had nothing. The same spark that turned 3 boys from the North into global superstars. He didn't know it yet, but that spark was about to catch fire. Because the IRS wasn't done. And neither was the world watching him fall. The next twist was already loading. And it was going to hit even harder. The second wave hit like a freight train nobody saw coming, not even Quavo. He was still trying to process the empty rooms when the next leak dropped, this time straight from what used to be his inner circle. Screenshots surfaced on every blog and subreddit imaginable. Text threads between Quavo and his former business manager dating back 3 years. In black and white, the manager begging, literally typing in all caps at one point, "Quavo, this is not a game, the IRS does not play, please sign these extensions before it's too late." Quavo's replies were short, dismissive, classic huncho energy. "Chill bruh, I got it handled. Send the next bag," or my favorite, "taxes? Lol, we good." Fans who once worshipped the unbothered vibe now turned vicious. The same people who typed fire emojis under his flex posts were now typing clown emojis under the screenshots. The internet doesn't forgive, it archives. Quavo tried to stay off the apps, but temptation won. He scrolled late one night in that midtown condo, hoodie up, lights off, face lit only by the screen. Every swipe felt like a punch. Old friends unfollowing, distant cousins posting subtweets, even some Migos diehards started questioning loyalty. One viral thread broke it down cold. Quavo was the spender, Offset was the saver, Takeoff was the silent glue. Without Takeoff, the balance broke. Without Offset checking him, the spending spiraled. Now Quavo paying the ultimate price. He threw the phone again. This time it didn't break. It just landed soft on the cheap carpet, mocking him with its silence. Offset came through again the next day, this time with Take. Take being Takeoff's younger cousin who had quietly stepped into more responsibilities after the tragedy. Take wasn't flashy like the others. He was numbers, paperwork, the one who actually read fine print. He sat Quavo down at the small kitchen table, pulled out a laptop, and showed him the damage in spreadsheets. Not just the seizure, the ongoing liens, frozen royalties from Spotify, Apple, YouTube, even merch money from old tours was being diverted. Quavo stared at the red numbers like they were written in blood. "How much time I got?" Take didn't sugarcoat. "Months if you're lucky, days if they push." Quavo laughed, but it was hollow. Days? To rebuild what? Take closed the laptop slow. To survive first, then rebuild. That's when the real arguments started exploding behind closed doors. Quavo's mom flew in from the old neighborhood. She didn't knock soft. She banged on that condo door like she was collecting rent. When Quavo opened it, she walked straight past him, purse swinging, eyes scanning the bare walls like she was inspecting a crime scene. "Boy, what in God's name did you do?" She didn't wait for an answer. She just started talking, voice rising with every sentence. "I told you when you bought that first chain bigger than my head, slow down. I told you when you bought mama that house, save something. I told you when Takeoff." Her voice broke there. She turned away, wiped her eyes quick. Quavo tried to hug her. She pushed him back, gentle but firm. "Don't, not yet, you gotta feel this first." They talked for hours, or mostly she talked. He listened. For once, she told stories he hadn't heard in years. How she worked double shifts so he could have studio time. How she prayed every night he wouldn't end up like so many others from the block. How proud she was when Migos blew up, but how scared she got when the money started pouring in faster than wisdom. You thought money was the finish line. Money ain't the finish line. It's the test, and you failing right now. Quavo didn't argue. He just sat there, head in hands, letting it sink in deeper than any accountant ever could. But family drama doesn't stay private long. Someone, nobody knows who for sure, recorded audio from outside the door. Snippets leaked the next morning. Mama Quavo's voice clear as day. "You let pride blind you. Now look, your name's still big but your pocket's light." The clip went nuclear. Blogs ran with headlines like "Mama Quavo reads huncho for filth amid IRS seizure." Fans divided quick, half saying she was right, tough love needed. Half saying let the man grieve in peace, family shouldn't air like that. Quavo saw the clip at 7 a.m. He didn't call his mom. He texted one word, "Sorry." She replied 2 hours later. Prove it. The betrayal that cut deepest came from someone unexpected. His longtime jeweler. The one who custom-made every piece, the one Quavo shouted out in interviews. The jeweler dropped an interview on a podcast nobody saw coming. Casual at first, then sharp. "Yeah, Quavo was good money, until he wasn't. Owed me 6 figures for pieces he swore he'd pay cash for. When the checks stopped, I had to protect myself. Started quietly repossessing what I could." Fans lost it. The jeweler became hero and villain in the same breath. Some called him grimy for talking. Others said Quavo should have paid his debts. Quavo heard the episode in full, sat silent through all 90 minutes. When it ended, he whispered to the empty room, "Damn." Even the plug turned. Offset tried to pull him out the hole. Booked a small studio session, just them, no cameras, no features. Said let's make something raw. Quavo showed up late, eyes bloodshot, hoodie swallowing him whole. They played old beats for hours. Nothing stuck. Every bar felt forced. Quavo finally stopped rapping mid-verse. Put the headphones down. I can't flex no more. Offset nodded slow. Then don't. Rap the truth. Rap the hurt. Rap sitting in an empty crib wondering where it all went. Quavo looked at him like the idea was foreign. Truth? Nigga, truth don't sell like drip. Offset leaned in. It does now. That night something cracked open. Quavo didn't sleep. He sat on the balcony with a notebook, pen moving for the first time in weeks. Not bars about watches or foreigns. Bars about regret, about mama crying, about Takeoff's voice missing from the harmony, about waking up broke in a city that still calls him king. By sunrise he had 3 verses. Rough, ugly, honest. He sent them to Offset at 6:42 a.m. Offset called back in under 2 minutes. This the one. But before he could even think about releasing anything, the IRS dropped the hammer again. Public auction notices started posting online. His Miami penthouse, his private jet shares, even the naming rights to a studio he built for up-and-comers. Listed with starting bids that made his stomach turn. Fans screenshot everything, sent it to him in DMs. He didn't open them, he just stared at the listings like they were obituaries. Then he did something nobody expected. He went live, no makeup, no chains, no entourage, just him in the Midtown condo, sitting on a folding chair, phone propped on a box. The live hit 100,000 viewers in minutes. He didn't smile, didn't dap the camera, just spoke. Y'all been asking if I'm good. I'm not, but I'm still here. I fucked up. Big. Ignored people who tried to help. Thought the money would last forever. It didn't, but the music's still here. Mama's still here. Family's still here. And y'all still here watching a nigga fall. So if you rocking with the real, stay. If you here for the memes, bounce. I'm about to start over. From the bottom, again, the chat exploded. Hearts, prayers, some hate, mostly love, real love, the kind he hadn't felt since the come-up days. He ended the live after 22 minutes. No goodbye flex, just peace, and for the first time in weeks, he felt a little lighter. But the storm wasn't over. Not even close, because while Quavo was finding his voice again, someone else was plotting. Someone close, someone who knew every secret, every account, every weakness. The next twist wasn't financial, it was personal, and it was about to drag the whole family back into the fire. The betrayal nobody saw coming landed like a sucker punch straight to the chest. It wasn't a random blog or a shady jeweler this time. It was blood, Quavo's own cousin, the one he called Lil Bro since they were kids running the same block, the one who got put on payroll when Migos first started touring. His name was Marcus, but everybody knew him as Mark. Mark who handled the day-to-day, who picked up the dry cleaning, who made sure the tour bus had the right snacks, who quietly moved into bigger roles after Takeoff passed. Quavo trusted him like family because he was family. That's why the knife twisted deeper. The story broke on a Thursday afternoon when a major music gossip page dropped an exclusive. Leaked emails. Not just any emails. Mark's personal Gmail chain with a tax attorney Quavo had never even met. Dates going back 18 months. Mark writing things like Quavo won't listen, keep spending, I can reroute some of the offshore if we move quick. The attorney replying with cautious yeses, wiring instructions, account numbers that looked too clean. Then the kicker. A draft agreement Mark sent titled, Consulting Fee Restructure, that basically funneled a percentage of Quavo's untaxed tour advances into a shell company Mark controlled. Fans dissected it in minutes. The math didn't lie. If even half of it was real, Mark had been skimming for years while Quavo was too busy flexing to notice. Quavo found out the hard way. Offset called him first, sent the link without comment. Quavo clicked it, read the first paragraph, and the room spun. He didn't scream, he just sat down hard on the floor like his legs forgot how to work. Offset was already on speaker. You see this shit? Quavo's voice came out small. Yeah, Offset paused. We gotta handle it quiet. Quavo laughed, bitter and broken. Quiet? Nigga, the whole world reading my bank statements right now. Offset sighed. Meet me at the old spot. No cameras. Bring take. They linked at the original studio in the Knopf, the one they hadn't touched in years. Graffiti still on the walls from when they were broke and dreaming. Mark was already there when they walked in. He didn't look guilty. He looked scared. Quavo didn't waste time. Threw the printed screenshots on the table like evidence in court. Explain. Mark started fumbling. It wasn't like that, huncho. I was trying to protect you. They were coming hard. I thought if I moved some around we could buy time. Quavo stepped closer. Protect me? By stealing? Mark shook his head fast. Not stealing. Relocating. You wasn't paying attention. I had to do something. Offset cut in cold. Relocating to your account? Mark went quiet. Take spoke up for the first time, voice steady. We ran the numbers. Over 800,000 missing. Easy. Mark's eyes darted. That's fees. Consulting. Quavo lunged, grabbed Mark by the collar. You my blood nigga. You watched mama cry. You saw the crib empty. And you was the one helping empty it? The room exploded. Offset pulled Quavo back before fists flew. Mark started crying, real tears, snot and all. I fucked up. I got in deep with some people. Gambling. Bad bets. Thought I could flip it quick, pay it back before anybody noticed. Quavo stared like he was seeing a stranger. You came to me. You could have said something. Mark sobbed harder. I was ashamed. You the big homie. Couldn't tell you I was losing. Quavo let go, stepped back, sat on an old amp. Silence stretched long and ugly. Finally he spoke low. Get out. Don't come back around. Don't call. Don't text. If I see you again it's not gonna be words. Mark tried one last plea. Huncho, please, we family. Quavo looked up, eyes dead. Family don't do family like that. Door. Mark left. Nobody stopped him. The three of them sat in that dim studio for hours after. No music, no beats, just breathing and regret. Offset finally broke the quiet. We press charges? Quavo shook his head slow. Nah, let karma handle it. He already lost more than money. Take nodded. Smart, but we lock everything down now. No more open books. No more blind trust. Quavo agreed without argument. For the first time he understood why Takeoff always asked questions nobody else wanted to hear. The fallout from Mark's betrayal rippled fast. Mama Quavo called that same night. She had seen the headlines. Her voice trembled. Is it true? Quavo didn't lie. Yeah mama, most of it. She went quiet so long he thought she hung up. Then soft. I raised him too. Thought he was different. Quavo swallowed hard. Me too. She sighed deep. Y'all boys think money fixes pain. It don't. It just makes new pain louder. Come home tomorrow. No cameras. Just us. Quavo whispered okay. He showed up at her house the next evening. No Lambo. Ubered there in sweats and a beanie. She opened the door, pulled him into a hug that lasted forever. No lectures this time, just holding. They sat on the porch swing like when he was little. She rocked slow, told him stories about his dad, how he chased dreams too hard and lost everything. Said you ain't your daddy, but you heading the same road if you don't turn now. Quavo cried then. Real tears. First time since Takeoff. She wiped his face with her sleeve. It's okay to break, son. Just don't stay broken. That conversation changed something permanent. Quavo started moving different, called every creditor himself. No middlemen. Apologized where he owed apologies. Worked out payment plans on what he could. Sold what was left to sell. Even put the last chain up, the one Takeoff gave him before everything went platinum. Auctioned it quiet. Proceeds went straight to back taxes. Fans caught wind somehow. Started a GoFundMe without him asking. He shut it down in hours. Posted a simple IG story. Appreciate the love, but this one I gotta fix myself. Meanwhile the music shifted. Those verses he wrote on the balcony turned into a full song. Raw, no features, no auto-tune, just Quavo over a haunting piano loop. Offset produced in one night. Titled, Empty Rooms. He dropped it unannounced on a Friday night. No promo, no rollout, just link in bio. The beat hit first, slow and heavy. Then the first line, used to wake up to notifications, now it's eviction notices. The internet stopped scrolling. Streams climbed slow at first, then exploded. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. Tears in comment sections. Even haters admitted it hit. One big page posted, "This ain't a song, this a confession." Quavo watched the numbers from that same folding chair. Didn't smile, just nodded once, like he finally understood what real came from. But peace never lasts long in this game. While Empty Rooms was climbing charts, another storm brewed. The IRS wasn't satisfied with the first seizure. They wanted more. Word leaked they were auditing the entire Migos catalog. Every split, every publishing deal, every royalty stream. Offset got the call first. Lawyer on the line saying they digging into old tour merch too. Offset told Quavo over FaceTime, "We might lose the name, the brand, everything we built." Quavo stared at the screen, then said something Offset never expected. "Then we build new." Offset blinked. "New?" Quavo nodded slow. "Huncho died with the money. I'm just Quavo now." Offset smiled for the first time in months. "That's my brother." The fight was far from over. Lawyers circled. Family rallied quiet. Fans stayed loyal in ways Quavo never imagined. Mama prayed harder. Take crunched numbers non-stop. And Quavo? He kept writing, kept showing up to small sessions, kept telling the truth bar by bar. The king wasn't coming back, but a new man was rising from the ashes. Scarred, humbled, real, and the world wasn't done watching yet. Because just as he started breathing again, one last twist was loading. This one would test everything he had left. The final blow came without warning, quiet at first like the calm before a hurricane, then roaring through every corner of Quavo's world. It started with a single document slipped under the condo door at dawn. A notice of intent to levy on all future earnings. Not just past money, future money. The IRS had gone deeper than anyone imagined. They weren't stopping at seized assets. They wanted a piece of every stream, every show, every merch drop, every sync placement for the next decade if necessary. Lawyers called it aggressive. Quavo called it war. He read the fine print sitting on the floor, back against the wall, knees up like a kid hiding from the dark. The percentage they demanded was brutal, enough to make even the most optimistic accountant shake his head. He didn't call Offset right away. He just stared at the paper until the words blurred. When he finally dialed, Offset answered on the first ring. Voice already tense. "You see it?" Quavo whispered, "Yeah." Offset cursed low. "They trying to own us forever." Quavo laughed once, sharp and empty. "Own me? You still got moves." Offset paused. "Not if they tie up the catalog too." Silence stretched. Then Quavo said something that shocked even himself. "Maybe it's time to let it go." Offset's voice cracked. "Let what go?" Quavo closed his eyes. "The name, the brand, Huncho. If they want every dollar I make from here on, what's left to fight for?" Offset didn't answer quick. When he did, it was soft. "We built that name together." Quavo nodded even though Offset couldn't see. "Yeah, and Takeoff helped hold it up. But he's gone, and right now I'm drowning in it. Maybe starting clean. Maybe that's the only way out." The conversation ended there. No plan, no fire. Just two men breathing heavy on the line. Quavo hung up and walked to the balcony. Atlanta sprawled below, lights flickering like they always did, indifferent. He thought about the first time he saw real money hit the account. Thought about the first chain he bought Mama. Thought about Takeoff's laugh when they recorded Bad and Boji in that same old basement. Tears came again, silent this time. He didn't wipe them, just let them fall. For once he didn't fight the feeling. He sat with it, heavy, honest, real. The news hit public the next day. Not from Quavo, from a leaker inside the IRS office itself. Headlines screamed Quavo facing lifetime royalty garnishment. Blogs ran wild with speculation. Is this the end of Migos' legacy? Will Quavo ever perform again? Fans flooded his last post with messages. Some begging him to fight. Some saying walk away while you still got dignity. A few cruel ones saying good riddance. He read them all, didn't reply. Instead he called his mom. She picked up crying already. Saw the news, baby. Quavo tried to sound steady. "Mama, I'm tired." She didn't lecture. Just said come home. Bring your notebook. We're gonna pray and we're gonna write. No arguing this time. He grabbed the pages with empty rooms, scribbled all over them and drove straight there. At her house the air smelled like fried chicken and incense. She had the old Bible open on the coffee table. No TV, no phones, just them. She sat him down, held his hands, prayed long and deep. Words about grace, about starting over, about how God don't throw away broken things, he remakes them. Quavo listened, really listened. When she finished he opened the notebook. Read her the new verses he'd been too scared to share. Lines about losing it all but finding himself in the loss. About how broke felt freer than rich ever did. She smiled through tears. That's the one son. That's the testimony. They spent the weekend like that. No outsiders. No drama. Just talking, cooking, writing. Offset showed up Sunday evening with Take. No entourage. Just family. They sat in the living room circle, passed the notebook around. Offset added a hook. Simple. Raw. I lost the chains but found the key. Take suggested stripping the beat even more. No drums at first. Just voice and pain. They recorded a rough cut on Mama's old phone. No studio polish, just truth. When it played back, nobody spoke for a full minute. Then Mama said, "That's not a song. That's healing." Quavo decided then. No big announcement, no press run. He posted the audio to his story at 2 a.m. Caption, "Not Huncho. Just Quavo. Thank y'all for staying." The link led to a SoundCloud upload titled, "Rebuilt." No artwork. No features. Just the track. Streams started slow, then surged. Reaction videos hit within hours. Big creators pausing midway to wipe their eyes. One said, "This ain't trap. This gospel." Another said Quavo just saved his career by killing his ego. The numbers climbed quiet but steady. Not because of hype, because of heart. But the IRS wasn't moved by emotion. Their next move came fast. A lien on the publishing catalog. Every Migos song, every solo, every feature, frozen until debts cleared. Offset got served papers at his house. Called Quavo frantic. They taking the masters too. Quavo didn't panic this time. He said, "Let we write new ones." Offset laughed, disbelieving. "You serious?" Quavo's voice was calm for the first time in months. "Dead serious. Huncho died. Quavo reborn. We start fresh. No old baggage, no old debts. Just us." They met the next week in a tiny rented space downtown. No logo, no security, just a mic, a laptop, and beats made on his phone. They didn't talk money, didn't talk fame, talked life, talked loss, talked tomorrow. The first song came quick, called From Zero. Quavo's verse hit different. No flex, no brag, just I hit bottom and found the floor wasn't so bad. Offset layered harmonies like old times. Added ad-libs soft and soulful. When they finished the rough mix, they played it for Mama over FaceTime. She cried happy tears, said, "Y'all sound like brothers again." Word spread slow through the industry. No splashy features, no big producers jumping on. But real ones reached out quiet. Metro sent a care package of beats. No strings, just support. Future texted one word, respect. Even Cardi dropped a voice note. "Keep going, Huncho. We see you." Quavo saved them all, didn't post, just kept working. Months passed, the garnishment stayed. Money came in slow from the new music. Enough to pay Mama's bills. Enough to cover rent, enough to breathe. Quavo moved into a small house in the suburbs. Nothing fancy. Backyard for the dog he adopted. Porch for late night writing. He started showing up at local open mics. No VIP section, just sign up like everybody else. Spit truth. Crowd small at first, then packed. People coming not for the name but for the story. One night after a set, a kid approached him. Maybe 16, eyes wide, said, "Your music kept me going when my mom got sick." Quavo hugged him tight, whispered thank you, walked away. Change. That's when he knew. The money was gone, the chains were gone, the ego was gone, but the purpose? That was just starting. The IRS case dragged on. Lawyers fought, settlements talked, but Quavo stopped obsessing. He focused on the next verse, the next show, the next conversation with Mama. Offset and Take stayed close. Family mended what it could. Mark never came back around. The jeweler got paid from auction leftovers. Loose ends tied quiet, and somewhere in the quiet rebuild, Quavo found peace he never had when he was on top. Not the loud kind, the real kind, the kind that doesn't need a million likes to feel solid. The king fell, but the man rose, scarred, stronger, still here, still spitting, still breathing. And the world? The world kept watching, because sometimes the greatest comeback isn't about getting rich again. It's about getting real. The dust from the last storm hadn't even settled when the biggest twist of all cracked open the sky. It wasn't another leak, wasn't family turning, wasn't even the IRS dropping a new bomb. It was Quavo himself. After months of quiet rebuilding, small shows, honest verses, Mama's prayers holding everything together, he did the one thing nobody expected from a man who'd been stripped bare. He disappeared. Completely. No posts, no stories, no cryptic lyrics. Phone off, location off, socials dark for the first time since he was 16. Fans noticed in hours. The hashtag where Quavo trended worldwide by morning. Blogs spun every theory, rehab, hiding from creditors, new secret project. Some even whispered witness protection like it was a movie. Offset stayed silent. Take posted one emoji, praying hands. Mama Quavo went live for 30 seconds, voice steady but eyes worried. My boy needed space. Respect it, that's all. 3 weeks passed, radio silence. The new tracks, Rebuilt, and From Zero, kept streaming steady. fans holding onto them like lifelines, but the man behind the voice was a ghost. Then, on a random Tuesday in late spring, a grainy video surfaced on a small fan page. No watermark, no caption, just 38 seconds of cell phone footage. Quavo, unmistakable even in shadows, sitting on a wooden bench in what looked like a rural park somewhere far from Atlanta. No chains, no designer, faded hoodie, ball cap low, beard fuller than anyone remembered. He was feeding ducks in a pond. Actual ducks. A kid maybe 8 years old ran up, asked for an autograph. Quavo smiled small, signed the kid's hat with a pen from his pocket, ruffled his hair, then went back to the breadcrumbs. No entourage, no security, just a man and some waterfowl. The clip ended with him looking straight at the camera for half a second, like he knew it was there, then turning away peaceful. The internet lost its mind. Theories exploded. He's retired, he's healing, he's plotting the biggest comeback ever. Offset finally broke silence with one post. Sometimes you gotta step back to step forward. Love my brother. The comments flooded with support. Quavo didn't confirm or deny. He just stayed gone a little longer. When he resurfaced, it wasn't with a bang. It was a whisper. A single tweet at 4:44 a.m. One line. One period. I'm back. Different. Attached was a 30-second snippet. No title. No beat drop. Just him a cappella over soft rain sounds. Voice rawer than ever. Lost the throne, learned to walk. Lost the money, learned to talk. Lost the ego, learned to crawl. Now I rise without the fall. Fans screenshotted it instantly. Streams of the old tracks spiked again. But he didn't follow up with a full song. Not yet. Instead, he started doing something nobody saw coming. Community work. Quiet. No cameras invited. He showed up at youth centers in the North. Talked to kids about money mistakes. About listening when elders speak. About grief. About second chances. He didn't preach. He just shared. Sat on gym bleachers. Answered questions honest. One girl asked why he stopped flexing. He said because flexing almost killed me. She hugged him. He hugged back longer. Offset and Take joined him sometimes. Not as Migos, as brothers. They played small basketball games with the kids. Offset taught free production classes. Take ran financial literacy sessions nobody asked for but everybody needed. Mama Quavo cooked for everybody after. Big pots of greens and cornbread. The vibe felt like the old days before the money poisoned everything. Pure, connected, real. The IRS negotiations dragged into summer. Lawyers chipped away at the lifetime levy. Got it reduced, not erased, but manageable. Quavo paid what he could from the steady streams still coming in. He refused advances, refused big label offers that wanted to rebrand him as the comeback king. Said nah, I come back on my terms. He started a small independent label instead. Called it Nof Reborn. Signed 2 local kids with real stories. No gimmicks, just talent and truth. First release was a joint EP. Quavo featured on one track. Verse lasted 48 seconds. Said more than most albums. Then came the night that changed the temperature. A small venue in Atlanta. Capacity 200. Sold out in minutes after he posted the flyer himself. No VIP. No bottle service. $10 at the door. All proceeds to Takeoff's foundation. He walked on stage in jeans and a plain white tee. No intro. No DJ. Just him and a mic. Lights low. Crowd quiet. He spoke first. Ain't here to perform. Here to talk. Then to sing. Talked for 20 minutes straight. About the seizure. About Mark. About ignoring mama. About losing Takeoff twice. Once when he passed. Once when the grief turned to silence. Cried in front of strangers. Didn't hide it. Then he sang. Empty rooms. First. Voice cracking on the high notes. Crowd sang every word back. Then, rebuilt. Then, from zero. Then new ones nobody had heard. Each one heavier. Truer. By the last song the whole room was swaying. Phones down. Tears up. When it ended he didn't bow. Just said thank y'all for catching me when I fell. Walked off. Venue erupted. Videos from that night leaked everywhere. Reaction channels dissected every bar. Big artists reposted clips. Kendrick liked the post. Drake commented praying for you fam. Even Cardi said real recognize real. Quavo didn't reply to any of it. He just kept moving. Small shows. Community centers. Studio nights with the new signees. Mama's porch writing sessions. He grew his hair out. Started wearing simple crosses. Found a therapist. Talked about the shame, the anger, the pride that almost destroyed him. Said it out loud so others wouldn't have to carry it alone. Months turned to a year. The IRS debt shrank to something payable over time. Not gone, but no longer a guillotine. He bought Mama a new house. Smaller than the old one, but paid in full, cash, no mortgage. She cried when he handed her the keys. Said, "You finally listened." He said, "I had no choice." She laughed. "Good, now keep listening." Quavo never went back to the old life. Never bought another chain. Never posted a private jet. But he did something better. He built quiet, built real, built legacy that couldn't be seized. Fans stopped asking when the next album drops. They just stayed loyal, because they saw a man remake himself in front of them. Not for clout, for survival, then for purpose. One night, late, he sat on that same balcony where the pain first hit hardest. Notebook open, pen moving slow, wrote one line that felt like closing a chapter. "I went broke to get whole," closed the book, looked at the city lights, smiled small, whispered to the empty air, "We good now, take off, we good." And somewhere in the quiet, the comeback wasn't about money anymore. It was about meaning, and that couldn't be taken, not by the IRS, not by betrayal, not by the world. Quavo fell, Quavo broke, Quavo rose, different, real, still here. The rebuild didn't stop at small venues and quiet verses. It kept growing roots, slow and deep, the way real things do when they're not chasing spotlight. Quavo started waking up earlier. 5 a.m. Coffee on the porch. Notebook open before the sun. No phone buzzing, no notifications pulling him back into the old noise. He wrote about the silence now. How it scared him at first. How it saved him later. Lines like, "Quiet got louder than the chains ever did." He didn't rush to record them. Let them sit, marinate. Mama would read over his shoulder sometimes. Nod slow. Say, "That's you talking, son. Not huncho. Keep going." Offset felt the shift too. He stopped chasing features. Stopped posting every studio night. Started producing for the youth center kids instead. Beats made on cracked laptops. Drums from phone apps. Raw loops that sounded like the block before money changed the sound. Take handled the books. Not just for Quavo. For the new label. Nof Reborn grew from one signee to 4. All local, all hungry, all carrying stories heavier than any backpack. Quavo didn't executive produce like a boss. He mentored, sat in sessions, listened more than he spoke. When one kid spit something weak, he didn't roast. He asked why, pulled the real out, turned pain into punchlines that actually hit. The first Nof Reborn show happened in a community gym. Folding chairs, bleachers half full, no Ticketmaster, cash at the door or Venmo QR code taped to the wall. Quavo opened, not headlined, opened, walked out in a black hoodie with the foundation logo on the chest. Takeoff's face embroidered small on the sleeve. Crowd went quiet fast. He didn't hype them up. Just said, "This ain't about me tonight. This about the ones coming after." Then he did 3 songs. Old ones reworked, new ones unfinished. Voice steady but eyes wet on the Takeoff tribute bar. When he finished, the gym erupted. Not the wild mosh pit energy. The grateful kind. The "we see you" kind. After that night, things snowballed quiet. Radio stations in Atlanta started playing Rebuilt, unprompted. Not the big morning shows. The late night ones. The DJ who still believed in lyrics. Bloggers who once clowned him now wrote think pieces. Quavo's fall and rise is the hip-hop redemption arc we needed. He didn't do interviews. Turned down every podcast request. Even the big ones. Said if they want the story they can hear it in the music. But he did one thing. Wrote an open letter. Posted it plain text on IG. No photo, no filter. To everybody who watched me lose it all and still stayed, thank you. I ignored the signs, ignored the people, ignored God's whispers until they became screams. I paid the price, lost homes, lost trust, lost pieces of myself I thought I couldn't live without. But I found better pieces. Real ones, mama's prayers, family's forgiveness, fans who prayed when I couldn't. Takeoff's memory pushing me forward even when I wanted to quit. I'm not back to where I was. And I don't want to be. That version died for a reason. This version breathes different, loves different, creates different. If you're reading this and you're in the dark right now, listen to the people who love you. Pay the taxes, pay the respect, pay the price early so it don't cost your soul later. We still got work to do. Nof forever, but different. The letter went viral without trying. Reposted by everyone from J. Cole to little kids on TikTok reading it over emotional beats. Donations to Takeoff's foundation spiked. Not because Quavo asked, because people felt it, felt the shift from flex to reflection. A year and a half after the seizure, the IRS sent the final notice. Settled, paid in full with interest. No more liens, no more garnishments. Quavo got the letter at Mama's house. Sat on the porch swing. Read it twice, then folded it neat, put it in the Bible she kept on the table. Didn't celebrate loud, just called Offset, said it's done. Offset laughed soft. We free? Quavo answered nah, we responsible now. With the debt gone he could have gone back. Could have bought the chains again. The cars, the jets, labels offered 8-figure deals. Reunion rumors swirled every week. Migos back together? He shut them down gentle. Posted a picture of the three of them from 2013. Caption: love never left. But seasons change. Respect the past. Build the future. He kept it small. Kept the house in the suburbs. Kept the dog. Kept writing at dawn. Started a podcast. Not flashy. Recorded in the garage. Called it Porch Talks. Guests were never A-listers. Just real people. A single mom who beat addiction. A kid from the block who started a coding camp. Mama Quavo even did one episode. Talked about raising boys in the storm. Cried a little. Laughed a lot. Listeners grew slow. Loyal. The kind who leave 5-star reviews saying this feels like family. Quavo did one big stage again. Not for money. For Takeoff, the foundation's annual gala. Black tie optional. He wore a simple suit. No jewelry. Performed last. Lights dimmed to almost nothing. Just a spotlight and a stool. He sang an unreleased joint. Called Three Voices. First verse Quavo. Second Offset. Third Takeoff. From old stems layered in respectful. When Takeoff's part hit, the room broke. Grown men crying. Quavo finished a cappella. Voice trembling but strong. Thank you for letting us keep his light on. Crowd stood for minutes. No one left early. After that he stepped back again. Not disappearing. Just living. Traveling quiet. Saw places he'd only flown over before. Hiked trails. Read books. Called Mama every Sunday. Checked on the label kids. Watched them drop their first real projects. Beamed like a proud uncle when they charted low but honest. Years later fans still talk about it. The fall that felt like the end. The rise that felt like truth. Quavo never became Huncho again. Never needed to. He became something rarer. A man who survived his own legend. Who turned rock bottom into foundation. Who proved you can lose everything and still win if you keep your soul. Some nights he still sits on that balcony. Notebook open. City lights same as always. But now when he writes, it's not to prove anything. It's to remember. To honor. To keep going. And somewhere Takeoff smiles. Offset nods. Mama prays. The Nof keeps breathing. Different. Whole. Forever. The rebuild turned into something bigger than Quavo ever planned. Something that outgrew the headlines and the hate and even the money he once chased. Years passed quiet but steady. Nof Reborn became more than a label. It became a movement. Kids from the same blocks he grew up on now had mics, mentors, and real chances. Not handouts. Real work. Quavo showed up every Tuesday for ciphers. No special treatment. He spit last, listened first. When a young girl dropped her first track about losing her brother to the streets, he didn't just nod. He cried with her, right there in the booth, then helped her rewrite the hook until it hit like truth instead of try hard. That song charted indie, not Billboard Top 10, but real charts, the ones that mattered to the people living it. Mama's house stayed the anchor. Every holiday the whole circle came through. Offset grilling in the backyard. Take running games with the little cousins. Quavo at the stove flipping pancakes like he never left. Laughter loud enough to shake the windows. No flex photos. No viral moments. Just family healing in real time. Takeoff's pictures hung on every wall now. Not as ghosts. As guardians. Mama still prayed over the food. Still said grace long. Still looked at Quavo like he was her miracle boy who almost didn't make it back. The music evolved too. No more chasing streams. Albums dropped when they felt right. Small. Intentional. His solo project, Whole, came out 5 years after the fall. 12 tracks. No features except one from Offset and a posthumous Takeoff verse Mama approved. No big promo. Just a Porch Talk episode announcing it. Streams started slow. Then word of mouth carried it. Critics called it mature. Fans called it home. One line stuck forever. I went from king to nothing. Found the crown was in the suffering. People tattooed it. Quoted it in therapy. Played it at funerals. Played it at weddings. It became the soundtrack for people rebuilding their own lives. Quavo never remarried the spotlight full-time. Did select shows. Intimate ones. Theaters. Not arenas. Sat on stools. Told stories between songs. cried when he needed to, laughed when the crowd sang back louder than him. One night in Atlanta he brought Mama on stage. She didn't speak, just held his hand while he performed 3 voices. The room went silent except for sniffles. When it ended she hugged him tight, whispered loud enough for the mic to catch, "Proud of you, baby." Always was. The ovation lasted 10 minutes. Phones captured it all, but Quavo didn't post. Let the people keep it sacred. He started traveling more, not for shows, for purpose. Went back to schools he used to skip. Talked to teens about money traps. About pride being the real killer. About listening before it's too late. Never charged a dime, never asked for clout, just showed up. Kids asked the hard questions. "Why do you ignore the warnings?" He answered straight, "Because I thought I was bigger than consequences." I wasn't. They listened. Some changed paths because of it. Offset and Quavo still linked heavy. Not for Migos revival, for new chapters. They produced together, wrote together, laughed about old beefs, cried about old losses. Take ran the foundation like a business. Scholarships, mental health programs, music camps, all funded quiet from streams and donations that never stopped coming. The world moved on from the drama, but the impact didn't. Quavo became proof that you can fall from the top, hit every rock on the way down, and still stand up taller. One evening, years later, he sat on that same balcony. Hair grayer now, scars deeper, notebook still open, city still shining indifferent below. He wrote one last line in the margins. "Broke taught me rich, pain taught me peace." Closed the book, looked up at the stars, felt takeoff there somehow. Offset texted right then, "You good?" Quavo smiled small, typed back, "Yeah fam. We whole." The king never returned. He didn't need to. The man who rose from the ashes carried a different crown now. One no one could seize. One made of truth, family, forgiveness, and bars that actually meant something. The Knopf stayed forever, but forever looked different, stronger, realer, unbreakable, and that's how the story ends. Not with a bang, not with millions in the bank, but with peace, purpose, and a legacy that money could never buy. Yo, if this roller coaster of drama, heartbreak, betrayal, and straight up redemption hit you in the chest the way it hit me telling it, smash that like button right now. It helps more people see this wild ride. Subscribe if you want more fabricated celeb chaos, real talk breakdowns, and stories that feel too crazy to be fake, but we both know the industry stays wild. Drop in the comments, do you think Quavo really could bounce back like this if it ever went down for real? Would you forgive the family betrayal? Or is the drip gone forever once it's seized? Tell me your take. I read every one. Appreciate y'all rocking with the channel. Stay tuned, more heat coming. Peace.